All right, Shalom. First off, I'm going to start out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father's true name, Yahweh Shai being the name of his only begotten Son. Giving double honor, son, to the elders and the apostles, a great millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace, blessings, and salutations to all you Wakim throughout the four corners of the earth, continuing to push and do the works in truth and in sincerity. All right, this is the brother Masai, one of the men coming up under the branch out here in Des Moines camp. And I'm here with a quick lesson once again, just pretty much going into how, people around you, all right, a lot of them aren't going to believe in this truth, all right, because the Lord ultimately, matter of fact, let me see if I can find that real quick. Because ultimately, the Lord's not coming to save everybody, and he's only coming to save as he said, he's only coming for the elect, pretty much. So a lot of the people around you that don't believe in the truth, whether it be family members, relatives, or a lot of people that you might have spoken to or told this truth, a lot of them aren't going to get it, or a lot of them aren't going to accept it. All right. So let me right. This is Luke chapter 12 and verse 15. Yeah. Matter of fact, before I read this, instead of reading that, I'm gonna read Matthew. Matthew chapter 10 and verse 36. This is Matthew chapter 10 and verse 36. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. All right. So foes is pretty much what? Enemies, okay? Or people that are adversary or against you, all right? So they're going to be coming against you, okay, because you don't believe in this truth, all right? Because like the Lord said, this is John chapter 15 and verse 18. If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love its own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Okay, so plain and simple, these people, they ultimately don't like the men of the Lord, all right, because ultimately they don't like the ways of the Lord, all right, because they're not for the Lord. The Lord doesn't want them, Verse 20, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. All right. So pretty much whatever the hate that the Lord got, all right, or how the Lord was dealt with, with these people, it's gonna be the same thing that the men of the Lord, okay, his servants are gonna deal with. All right. And really, I'm doing this lesson, not that anything major is happening to me personally, but it's just something on my spirit that I've been that I kind of been thinking about, because a lot of people that don't believe in this truth, all right, when they see when things shit starts to hit the fan, all right, they're not gonna want to be around you or want to be associated with you when they see that people that believe in this truth, okay, or that are involved with this thing are being persecuted, all right. They're gonna want to save their own ass and remove themselves from you or something of that nature, But verse 21, but all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. All right. So what? They don't know the Most High, so therefore they don't like his son, But from there, Let's get Romans 3:3. Because ultimately, hey, it doesn't even matter if these people don't believe. Once again, all right. I wanted to start it off and to paint that picture, because just because they don't believe, all right, like the precept says, Romans 3:3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? The Most High forbid. Yea, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged. All right. So just because these people don't believe in this truth, or they speaking against you, all right, that doesn't mean that if you personally, okay, are the hopeful elect, that doesn't mean that the Lord isn't going to deliver you. The Lord's going to do his will. All right. Or it doesn't mean that these prophecies aren't going to come to pass. It doesn't mean that the chip or Salaka, it doesn't mean that the C-hip, okay, isn't going to be implemented, just because they don't believe. These things are still going to come to pass. And another thing too, that's why I believe a brother in our camp mentioned and said that that's why we need or Salaka, it was I think the brother said it was Elder Yashawamba, and a lesson he did, and he mentioned that that's why we need judgment to come to pass, okay? Because then that's going to show that what we've been speaking is the truth, And once again, Salakia, I don't want to say nothing off that anybody didn't say, but I remember hearing the brother mention that. So and that's true, all right? Because when these prophecies come to pass, then these people are going to realize that what we've been saying is the truth. All right, let's get that in Ezekiel. Ezekiel 33 and 33. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, these prophecies, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. Okay, so once these prophecies and all hell starts to break loose, all right, all hell starts to break loose, and the things that the brothers and the men of the Lord have been saying, all right, certain things you told your family members about, but they might have they just kind of, they didn't really take it in. You can see they didn't really take it in. They might just be looking and nodding, but really they're not fully believing in what you're saying. But when it actually comes to pass, then they're gonna know and understand that that's what you've been trying to tell them about. From here, let's go to and ultimately, like Paul said in Acts, all right. Another thing too, I know probably they ultimately the people around you, they're not gonna accept, they're not gonna like the fact that you are believing in this truth and doing things contrary to the way they do things. But like this precept says, this is Acts chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey the Most High rather than men. And that's plain and simple, all right? It doesn't matter how people feel, what they think, all right, about what you're doing and how you're moving. We ought to obey the Most High, the word, these scriptures, rather than men, all right? Because the ways of men, okay, they don't know, but the ways of the Most High, okay, is what leads on to life and salvation, all right? So, we're gonna close it out on Second Esdras. This is Second Esdras chapter 15, starting at the top. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Right, so this is what we speaking in. This is what the men of the Lord are speaking and warning warning you so-called warning the Israelites about. All right, being you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right, that's what the men of the Lord are out here warning you about, because like it says, for they are faithful and true. So these things are going to come to pass. All right, just like all the other prophecies, or a lot of the prophecies like Deuteronomy 28, all right, that have came to pass, well, it's going to be the same thing with a lot of the other things that are written within these scriptures, right? Verse 3 is the point. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Right? So don't fear what they think. All right? What they thinking about doing. All right? Let not their incredulity, meaning unbelief, trouble thee. So if they don't believe, hey, to hell with them ultimately. All right? For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Right? They're ultimately gonna be taken away, okay, in their unfaithfulness. The Lord's gonna kill him. All right. So hey, that's plain and simple. They don't believe, hey, they're gonna have to, like the scripture say, through death by pain. That's how they're gonna learn. You know? So that's pretty much the point of this lesson. Just going into that is just something I've been thinking about lately. You know, hey, to hell with the ones that don't believe, you know, like the Lord said, I believe it's Ezra's. He said, worry about the salvation of the righteous, or how the righteous shall be saved, you know? So that's who we're doing these lessons for, the ones that are going to get it and come into this truth. So with that, I want to say, Call Halal Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Ruach HaKodesh, Tawada Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yoshai, for putting the spirit upon me to do this lesson. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles, a great millstone, who rule well and teach well. And peace, blessings, and salutations to all you Yawakim throughout the four corners of the earth, continuing to push and do the works in truth and in sincerity. Shalom.